Hi everybody, I'm Duff. I'm from the band STRAWMAN, strawmanmusic.com. Video blog 1A, following up my 9/11 blog from last week. I want to get the BBC video on this blog, which didn't make it for the YouTube viewers. A lot of people saw it on Facebook, where they did get to see that BBC video. While I'm here, I figure I'll speak a little bit more about 9/11 attacks, in focus being on World Trade Center 7 and that building's collapse, or what I deem as a demolition, and the reason why I'm even bringing you this information. But to recap, my problems with the 9/11 story, many elements to it, primarily the building collapses. I'm focusing on Trade Center 7, but I do believe that 1 and 2 were also demolished. They just simply fell too fast, without enough resistance at near free fall speed, given the amount of steel and concrete that was there. But they were hit by airplanes, whereas World Trade Center 7 wasn't. And that's why it's my focus today. I figure all I have to do is prove one smoking gun to make my point, and that's what I intend to do. So pause here for a minute, take a look at this video, and when I come back, I'll explain to you what you've seen and what it means.
Let's listen to Dan Rather narrate this collapse for us as we take our first look at the collapse of Building 7.
And what you're seeing are high shots. Now, here we're going to show you a videotape of the collapse itself.
Describe that.
Now we go to videotape the collapse of this building.
It's amazing.
Amazing, incredible, pick your word. For the third time today, it's reminiscent of those pictures we've all seen too much on television before, when a building was deliberately destroyed by well-placed dynamite to knock it down.
What, Dan? Deliberately destroyed by well-placed dynamite to knock it down? Dan never repeated these words after this first day. In fact, we didn't see this building coming down after 9/11. Let's take a look from West Street. Maybe we haven't quite understood yet what's going on. Well, I'm not quite convinced yet. Let's take a look in this side-by-side comparison with a known controlled demolition on the right. Did the building fall into its own footprint?
Okay, so what you saw there was a video from 9/11 Architects and Engineers for Truth, and it was from a presentation they gave at a university. In the clip you saw CBS footage from September 11, 2001 of the collapse of World Trade Center 7, along with the Dan Rather commentary saying it looked like a controlled demolition. I couldn't agree more, Dan. And then you had the presenter show you the collapse again, side-by-side videotape of a couple of different buildings that we know were demolished in a controlled fashion. And to me, the similarities are uncanny. It brings me to the conclusion that World Trade Center 7 was undoubtedly demolished. And of course that's a problem because, well, the official report mentions nothing of controlled demolition. The NIST, National Institute for Standards and Technology, they were charged with a technical analysis. They said there was no evidence to support this theory that 7 was demolished. As for the 9/11 Commission, they didn't even discuss World Trade Center 7 in their report. They didn't even mention it. The only building ever in the history of man that is made of steel frame to collapse wholly due to fire, and it wasn't mentioned. Of course, the Twin Towers collapsed too, but they were hit by airplanes. A glaring omission, one that should raise eyebrows even before you see the evidence there that I've just showed you. Now the question is, what does this all mean? Well, I see a controlled demolition. We're told it wasn't, but I see a controlled demolition. So the next question that I would ask is, who did it? Well, since the reports say that it didn't happen, then we know it wasn't Al-Qaeda. However, the building was clearly demolished in my mind. Another point I'd like to raise is that the building cannot be demolished in a single day. It takes months of planning, probably a couple of months total minimum, in order to prepare that building wholly for demolition. So that means that there were people in there at least 2 months before prepping that building for demolition, and the question is why? Well, money and power are two strong indicators as to why people will do bad things. I should say they will initiate people into doing very bad things. Larry Silverstein, who owned the leases for World Trade Centers 1 and 2, the towers, and World Trade Center 7, he profited roughly around $7 to $7.5 billion. That's profit on the insurance claims, including about $500 million on World Trade Center 7 alone. There's a lot of incentive there to bring those buildings down. I know that you and I and most people couldn't imagine killing one person, let alone 3,000, just for even billions of dollars. But if you think that there aren't people in this world who are willing to do that, then you're naive. They're the people that run your military. They're the people that run your government. They're the people that run big business. And that's simply just the way it is.